Hello guys and welcome to the channel. Today we'll be having a look at another power bank with an LED light. This is the second power bank that I have got recently. The first one that I got was the 60,000 milliamp hour power bank from Romos, and it actually turned out to be really good. So this is why I decided to try out this one. This is a 50,000 milliamp hour battery from brand XO. I don't know if it's good or not, but I have decided to try it out and see how it looks and share my thoughts about it. This isn't a sponsored video. I will be just giving you my feedback, and we'll also be doing some testing, make sure that the capacity is what is advertised on the box and in the specs. So stay tuned and let's get started. And before we start, if you're new to the channel, please take a second to click the subscribe button. This will help me a lot to grow my channel and bring you more helpful, interesting and entertaining videos. And if you find this video helpful, please support it with your like, and let's get started. Alright, so yeah, like I said, this is the second power bank that I've got. In this video, I'm only gonna be doing a review of this specific power bank, but in the next video, we're gonna compare it side by side with Romos PEA60 power bank. This is a slightly bigger power bank. It's a 60,000 milliamp hour, but all other specs are pretty much the same. It just looks a little bit different. So we're gonna compare it a little bit later after we review this one. But for now, let's have a look at the box. As you can see, the model number for this power bank is XO-PR158. There are different models available. There's models with 40,000 milliamp hour, I believe, and there's actually models with 80,000 milliamp hour. I was gonna get that one, but it was almost twice as expensive as this one, so I decided to try the just one, see how it works, because I never tried this brand before. So we're gonna test it out and see if the capacity is what's advertised, and then might be a good idea to get an 80,000 if it becomes a little bit cheaper. But anyway, the reason why I decided to get this one, because it has an LED light. When you get in like a blackout or if there is no power, imagine having an LED light with a 50,000 milliamp hour. That's gonna last you for like days, if not weeks, because it doesn't require much power, but it has an enormous capacity, so that should last a long time. We're not gonna test it in this video because it's probably gonna take weeks or even months to discharge it with just one LED light. Anyway, if you look on the specs here, as you can see, it's got a LED power display. It's got a power delivery 20 watt output through the USB Type-C, I believe. And it has a quick charge 22.5 watt output, which is what most budget power banks are capable of. If you want to get a higher output like 60 watt or even 100 watt, it's also available, but then it will cost like 3, 4, 5 times more depending on the model. You don't really need to have like a 100 watt charge unless you're going to be charging your laptop. In my case, it's not very convenient because the gaming laptop is going to discharge so quick, so there's no point of buying a power bank for it. Let's see what other features they got here. As you can see, so it has a temperature protection, it has an overcharge protection, overcurrent, and the short circuits. So these are all the safety measures, which is good because, as we all know, lithium batteries, they're pretty flammable, and you need to have all this stuff to make sure that it is safe to use. There is a little bit more specs on this side here. As you can see, it shows the battery capacity, 50,000 milliamp hour at 3.7 volt, which gives us 185 watt hour. So 37 watt hour less than the previous power bank. It shows the battery types, so it's not a lithium-ion, it's a lithium polymer. The USB output is 5 volt at 2 amp max, which gives us 10 watt. That's a regular USB. Then the USB Type-C got a 5 volt at 3 amp, or 9 volt at 2.23 amp, or 12 volt at 1.67 amp, which gives us 20 watt. That's a USB Type-C, and then there is one USB port that's capable of delivering 5 volt at 4.5 amp, or 5 volt at 3 amp, or 9 volt at 2 amp, or 12 volt at 1.5 amp, all giving us a total of 22.5 watt. The micro USB port, Type-C port, and Lightning port are used for charging, and you can charge it at 5 volt at 2.5 amp, or 9 volt at 2 amp, or you can even charge it at 12 volt at 1.5, the total 18 watts. So it will also take a long time, and we're gonna test and see how long it will take to charge it from 0 to 100, because as we all know, before using this power bank you need to fully discharge it, then fully charge it, and we're gonna test it and see how long it will take from full discharge to full charge. So stay tuned to the end of this video and you'll find that out. Another thing here, there is an authenticity logo here, which means this is a genuine XO product, and you can actually get the QR code and get some more info about this product. Well, enough looking at the box, let's go ahead and unbox it. Alright, so let's go ahead and open it up. So we get in some information in Chinese, and it will be very difficult to read unless we got the translation here. And yes, there is a translation here. So this is your power bank user manual. If you want to read through the user manual to get some information how to use it, and you also get a warranty card here you can fill out if there is any warranty, but usually nobody returns it for warranty unless you can return it in 14 days. It should work fine, but anyway, it's good they have included it. So it comes in a very flimsy plastic box. Oh, there is a USB cable. Oh, nice. There's a very short micro USB to USB type A cable, just a little short charging cable with a flat profile, very nice looking. So yeah, you can use it for charging, but I'm most likely gonna use the USB type C. I don't like micro USB much, but it's good they have included some cable in case you don't have any. Alright, so yeah, like you see, it's coming in a very flimsy, very thin plastic box. So it's not protecting it very good, I should say. Like the box is, I would give it 3 out of 5, or even less than that, maybe 2.5 out of 5, because this is just not very good protection. But if it's transported properly, I think it should be no problem. But the other power bank was protected much better. If you want to check out that video, I'm going to put it in the upper right corner here, or I'm going to put a link in the description as well. But yeah, anyway, let's go ahead and check it out. So the protection is very poor, I would say. There's only one plastic bag that protects it from scratching, basically. Voila! So what I can say, it already looks a lot smaller than the one that I had before, the 60,000 milliamp hour battery. Just compare it side by side. Look at that. And this is only 10,000 milliamp hour less than this guy. So you can see how huge this one is compared to this one. We'll compare it later and see. Anyway, let's get this out of here. So the design of it is pretty minimalistic. As you can see, it's got this strap here so you can actually hold it, and I think this is a pretty good idea, you know, especially if you go on camping. That would be nice to just kind of hang it somewhere on the hook, or if you just carry it around with you. That's nice to have this strap because you can carry it around easier, especially concerning the weight of it. It's like almost a kilo, or a little bit over a kilo actually. That's definitely a good idea to get this strap, but it might be in the way a little bit, so you have to kind of think of how to get it out of the way. So the body is all plastic. It's pretty good plastic, it's not wobbly anywhere, and it feels pretty solid, feels like a brick. Yeah, there is no play anywhere. On this side where the flashlight is, it's more smooth texture, but there's still some grain to it. On the sides, it's all smooth plastic, it's polished. And on the front where the display is, that shows you the percentage, it's all rippled. As you can see, there is some texture to it. And honestly, I think this is better because there will be no fingerprints at all. As you can see, I'm not leaving any fingerprints pretty much. On the sides, you're gonna see the fingerprints right away because it's all smooth. And on this side, there will be more fingerprints than before. On the front, there is a display that shows you the percentage. of the charge. Let's have a look how much it comes charged. There's a function button on the right side here, or on the left side, depending how you look at it. If that's the front, it's going to be the right side. So if you press on the button once, it's going to show you the amount of juice it has, and it's very pale actually. I'm surprised. In the bright light it is very hard to see. It is very hard to see. I have to look up really close up to see the readings. As you can see, it came 82% charged from the factory. It was probably charged 100%, but then it lost 18% over time since it was shipped. Yeah, as you can see, the display reading goes out after a little bit of time, I think like 30 seconds. So like I said, on the right there is a function button. Then there is an LED light. Let's go ahead and press on this LED light. And you have to long press on the function button for the LED light to turn on. And the LED light isn't very bright at all, but you know, it's enough to see in the dark, and if it's pitch black you will be able to see much better. But of course don't expect it to be a super bright LED light, because it's not meant to be a flashlight, it's like a lantern. I'm gonna turn off my video light and see how it's gonna be looking in the dark. It's daylight right now, of course I got my curtain on, but it's still pretty bright inside. But as you can see, that's how it looks. If you're gonna be reading in the dark, it might be difficult to read, but it's gonna be possible. So yeah, definitely works. And the advantage of having such a dim light is that it doesn't consume much power. So having a 50,000 milliamp hour battery inside will last this LED light for weeks, maybe for a month. Depends. I don't know if there's 3 LEDs or something that's consuming like 50 milliamp per hour. Then think 50 milliamp per hour, you get 10 hours for 500 milliamp. For 5,000 you get 100 hours, and for 50,000 you're gonna be getting 1,000 hours. So just count how many days that is, and this is how long it's gonna last. If you're in the woods stuck with no power, you can use it at night for 1,000 hours. So definitely a good thing. And as you can see, it's actually flickering light. The LED light is flickering. When I set the shutter speed to 250, it starts to flicker. If I set it to 160 shutter speed, you don't see flickering, but as soon as I go to 200, you can see it starts to flicker. If I go to 250, it's flickering even more. When I go 1/320 shutter speed on the camera, you can see the real flickering of this LED light. Unlike this guy here, this is also an LED light. As you can see, there is no flickering at that shutter speed. But I guess for this flashlight, it doesn't really matter. Check out if I go to 400, this is how it's flickering. Then if I go to 500, it's flickering even more. And at 640, this is how it's flickering. And this LED light is not flickering at all. As you can see, it's working fine. So this got a pretty low PWM. And the higher you go for the shutter speed, as you can see right now, it's 1/1000. And as you can see, it's flickering pretty strong, while this light doesn't flicker at all. So this is the difference between non-flickering light and flickering light. So this is not very good for your eyes if you look at it, because it might give you some fatigue. But because it's such a cheap power bank with a cheap LED light, this is why they just put the cheap flickering LED light. I'm gonna go ahead and turn on my light. There we go. So yeah, definitely a pretty cool thing. I think this is a must-have for all such power banks, because, well, if you have such huge capacity, why not put a small LED light? Then you can use it as a flashlight or a lantern. This one is a little bit bigger, but it doesn't have any flashlight to it. So you can see there's nothing, there's only one function button, but the reading is way brighter, I think. You can see the difference between this reading and that reading. It's way easier to see on this one than on this one. So definitely a plus for this one. As for the USB ports on the top, we get in 3 USB type A ports. this one here and this one, so the first and the third, they can only output 5 volt at 2 amps, so 10 watt each. That's going to be 20 watt total. And this one is the most powerful. This is the one that can output 22.5 watt, and it can do quick charge for 9 volt and 12 volt. Then of course you can use the USB Type-C to quick charge as well, but the USB Type-C is only going to be capable of 20 watt. While this one can do 22.5 watts, so not much difference, but slightly higher power output than the USB Type-C. And these ports, the micro USB and the lightning port, they only use for charging or for the input. So yeah, this is basically it. These are all the ports. If we compare it to this guy right here, the positioning of the ports is entirely different, but it doesn't matter. It's pretty much the same configuration. You got 2 USB Type-A ports that are just regular non-quick charge. Then you get in 1 quick charge USB Type-A port capable of 22.5 watt power delivery. Then there is a USB Type-C and 2 input ports, micro USB and the lightning ports. So this is a standard configuration for most power banks, and they work very good. So I don't think you need any much more. I almost never charge more than 1 device at a time, but more than that, you can get 2 of these power banks and use 6 ports right away. So that's kind of what you can do. And interestingly enough, as you can see, check out the difference in thickness. It's making me concerned about the true capacity of this new power bank, because if this is a 60,000 milliamp hour capacity and this is 50,000, look at how much smaller it is. Like, it's way smaller, and it's also smaller in height, it's smaller in depth. The only thing that's the same is the width. The width is pretty much the same. It makes me really wonder if it's going to be truly 50,000 milliamp hour in this guy. Well, this one we have already tested, and it was confirmed that it truly has 60,000 or even more than that. It was claimed 222 watt hour power, and we have actually calculated it was more than that using the USB tester. While this one, we're gonna see it should be 185 watt hour, and I'm curious how much it's gonna show. Okay, let's go ahead and weigh this guy, see how much it actually weighs, and we're getting 952 grams, which is not very much for 50,000 milliamp hour. As you can see, this guy is pretty light. And this guy, the Romos 60,000 milliamp, is 1376 grams. So it's like 400 grams more and only 10,000 milliamp larger. Just think about it and imagine how would this be 50,000 when this guy is 60,000 and it's 400 grams lighter. Very interesting. Another thing that I would like to mention is that this Romos power bank is twice as expensive as this guy here. So it leaves me wondering if the capacity is gonna be what is claimed or not. I will be really surprised if it is, because this one's around $50 for this 60,000 milliamp hour, and this guy is around $25 for 50,000. I don't know if it's going to be possible to actually do that, but after we do the testing, we're gonna know for sure. There is no logo anywhere on this power bank except on the bottom. As you can see, it's hiding on the bottom, so you won't see any flashing logo, meaning it's not a very popular brand if they don't want to show their logo on the power bank. It shows you the model of this power bank, then it also gives you a quick specs for all the USB ports in case you forget which port you need to use. As you can see it all here, so this is very handy. I really like it because yeah, you need to have that. Maybe it's gonna wear out over time, but for now it's here. And as you can see, this is the USB. This is the quickest USB with 2 lightning. This is the one right here. And another thing that wasn't included with this power bank, and even in this manual, there is no information about how to charge this power bank when you first receive it. Unlike the Romos that we have reviewed before, they included this tip that I think is applicable to any high capacity power banks. As you can see, due to the large capacity of this product, it's recommended that you discharge the product to 0% after receiving it and then recharge the battery to 100%. No interruption is allowed during charging to complete the battery activation. If the battery activation is not completed, the battery indicator data may be inaccurate. I don't know why they haven't included the same thing for this power bank, because there's still 50,000 milliamp hour power bank. Why not include that as well? This way you're not gonna mess up the battery inside, because if you receive it and you never discharge it fully and only charge it, you may not get the full capacity. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna discharge it first. And since there is 82% right now, I'm gonna be having to charge a lot of devices like smartphones, flashlights, maybe tablet or something like that to discharge this guy, and then we can charge it to 100%. And like before, I'm gonna be using this little guy to measure the current and voltage and how many milliamp hour was delivered to this power bank. This way we're gonna know how much power will be delivered to this power bank and roughly get an idea if there is 50,000 milliamp in this power bank or not. Just as a note, of course, this device is not a laboratory test, so there will be some variations, some discrepancies in this testing. This is only for entertaining and informational purposes, not pretending to be 100% accurate, but we're going to be using it to get an idea if it's anywhere near to that claimed capacity or not, as we've done with Romos already as well. So let's go ahead and do that and discharge this guy fully and then charge it to 100%. So I'm going to be using the quickest port on this power bank, which is this green guy, and we're going to be using this USB tester to confirm the voltage and the output power. Oh, there we go. Unfortunately, there is this strap in the way. I'm going to put it like this so we can see. Then we're going to be using the USB cable. And I will be charging my phone. Unfortunately, it's 90% charged, so it won't require much juice, but we're going to charge it anyway. Okay, so yeah, the power is going. And let's see what it shows here. So right now we're getting 5 volt at 2 amp or 1.5 amp. Not much at all. Let's go ahead and reset the USB tester. As you can see, for some reason it's showing only 5 volt at 1.34 amp. Though here it shows turbo power connected. So maybe it's because it's so fully charged, there is no need to go any higher amperage, because once the battery gets almost full, it usually drops down the amperage. This way it will slowly finish the charge. Let's go ahead and try another phone. This is an LG G5 and it's also capable of quick charging, and it's got less battery, so it should be charging quicker. So the charging has started. As we see, it's showing right now 6.5 volt. It's going up 7 volt, so it's slowly raising the voltage. So as you can see, it's only showing 7.33 volt at 1 amp. I don't know why it's not going up to 9 volt. Usually it goes up to 9 volt, but this time it doesn't want to do that. Then on the display here you can see it shows the percentage reading of the capacity left, then also shows the quick charge symbol, meaning that we have connected to the quick charge and that quick charge protocol is engaged. Then if you press this button here during charging, it does nothing. And on Romos power bank, if you press this function button, it will toggle and show the voltage and the amperage. On this guy, I guess it's just the minimal stuff, just shows you the percentage reading, and that's it. So as you can see, the voltage has went up to 7 volt, still 1 amp, so we're getting only 7 watt charging. Though my phone is showing it's a quick charge, but it's a very slow quick charge. But let's go ahead and discharge it fully, and then we can charge it and see how long it will take. So we got 81% right now. We're gonna charge this phone, as this one got 27% right now. So we're gonna charge it right now. First I'm gonna reset the USB tester. This is turbo power connected, And what we see on this power bank, it's 5 volt at 2.7 amp. So it is indeed a quick charge. So we're gonna see how much it's gonna consume. So right now it's at 28% and we're 0 times. So we're gonna see how long it will take to charge from 28% to 100% and how much energy will be delivered to this device. Alright, let's see what we got here. As you can see, it shows 100% charged, and let's see how much battery was used. So it has charged from 28% to 100% in 1 hour 24 minutes. It probably was a little bit less, I just haven't noticed it. It probably was around 1 hour or something. And it has supplied 2700 milliamp hour. And this phone is not new. It had a 4000 milliamp hour battery originally, but since it's not new, it's probably not having the same capacity as when it was new. Let's see how many percent is actually used from this power bank. It shows 73%, so that means it was 81. So 8% was used and it has supplied 2700 milliamp hour. When it's charging the phone with a quick charge function, as you can see, it went to 9 volt output and 1.8 amp, almost giving us 18 watt of power. So when you get in a quick charge device, it will automatically switch to quick charge, 9 volt or 12 volt, depending on the device. Also, if you look on the display, you're gonna see a little green icon here showing that the quick charge protocol is enabled. So this way you can tell if it's a quick charge just by looking at this icon here. Well, this is something I wasn't expecting, and I'm really disappointed with this power bank. I was just charging this smartphone, it was charging fine, and there was like 50% on the display here. So I thought, well, 50%, that's gonna be like 25,000 milliamp hour, because they claim it's gonna be a 50,000 milliamp hour battery inside. It said 50% on the display, and then like 10 minutes later, I look on the phone and it's not charging. And I'm looking at this USB tester and it's blank. So of course I lift it up and want to check the battery level, and it says 0. It was 50% and now it's 0 like in 10 minutes. Well, I surely hope it's not true, and maybe because the battery needs to be activated or something like that. This is why it's actually doing that, because sometimes when you get a new power bank, you need to discharge the battery fully and then charge it, and then it will activate the battery and then it will gain the full capacity of this battery. But I surely hope that's an issue, otherwise this is going to be the worst purchase. It probably only supplied like 15,000 milliamp and it just died. But I guess this is what you get for this money. You get what you pay for. If I paid $50 for the 60,000 milliamp hour power bank, while this one would be 50,000 for only $25, when the batteries are the most expensive component in the power bank, that would be really interesting to disassemble this power bank and see what's inside, because I would be really curious to see what batteries they got. Alright, so as you can see, the power bank is showing 0% charged, so we're gonna charge it right now. I'm gonna be using a quick charger from Realme, and it can charge 9 volt at 2 amps, so it gives us 18 watt of charging power, and this is the maximum that this power bank can handle. So this is why I'm gonna be using this charger. You don't need any quicker charger than that. And like I said, we're gonna be using this USB tester to verify the actual capacity of this power bank. So how much energy is going to be consumed by this power bank. There's going to be some discrepancies, but it's not going to be that much. We can neglect it because we're not going to be doing a lab test, but it's just going to give us an overall rough idea how much energy was consumed by this power bank, meaning how much energy will be stored there as well. So let's go ahead and do that right now. And I'm going to be using the USB Type-C port for charging. Alright, let's go. The charging has started. As you can see, there is an icon over here. That's meaning that it's in a quick charge. So it's being charged in the quick charge mode. And if you look up on this USB tester, you can see that it shows 9 volt 9.1 volt at 1.8 amp. So we're almost getting 18 watt of power, maybe just slightly less than that. So we'll see how long it will take to charge it, and hopefully I'm not gonna get any power outage, because it is not recommended to interrupt the charging process when you first discharge it and charge it during the initialization process. So hopefully the power will be on and we're gonna see how much it's gonna charge. It's also gonna show us the time, how long it will take. Then we can multiply milliamp hour times voltage and we're gonna get watt hour. So let's continue charging this device and see how it's gonna work out. 1 hour 5 minutes later, 10% charged, and it has consumed 2040 milliamp hour at 9 volt, giving us about 18 watt hour. If 18 watt hour is going to be 10%, that gives me a hope that 100% will be about 180 watt hour, which is what is actually it's supposed to be, because it's supposed to be about 175 185 watt hour based on its capacity and voltage. So if 10% is actually 18 watt hour, then it gives me hope. Hopefully that's gonna be what it's supposed to be. Let's go ahead and check out later. 15% charged after 1 hour and 37 minutes and 3000 milliamp hour consumed at 9 volt. Alright, so we're a little bit over into 2 hours right now. 2 hours and 8 minutes and almost 4000 milliamp hour, and it's showing 20% charge. So 2 hours for 20%, that means it will be charged probably in 10 hours. Let's continue waiting. Quarter charged, and let's see how much has been charged. Yeah, so 5100 milliamp at 9 volt, which gives us around 45 watt hour. So the quarter, 45 watt hour, if that's gonna be constant like this, it should be 100% about 180 watt hour, which should be pretty good. 4 hours down the road and we got 37% charged. Everything is going smooth and it's been already 7500 milliamp at 9 volt. So we're gonna keep going. The charging is steady and we're getting 37% charged. Another 63% to go. So let's continue. Alright, so we are 5 hours into charging, a little bit over 5 hours, and it's 46% full. Let's see how many milliamp hour has been consumed. And as you can see, 9580 milliamp hour has been consumed at 9 volt. And it's been 5 hours and 8 minutes. Still going 18 watt charging because it's only 47% full. It's probably gonna start dropping the power when it starts reaching to 100%. Let's continue on charging and we'll get back once it's charged a little bit more. Alright, so we are finally at 50% charged and it has been 5 hours and 34 minutes, so let's say 5.5 hours, and it has consumed 10,377 milliamp hour, roughly let's say 10,400 milliamp hour at 9.06 volt, let's say 9 volt. We're going to be getting 93,600 milliwatt hour or 93.6 watt hour. 93.6 watt hour times 2, and we should be getting for the full charge 187 watt hour. And this is what it's supposed to be. This is what we're expecting it to be, because at the claim capacity of 50,000 milliamp hour, that's the claim capacity of this power bank, and multiplied by 3.7 volt, this is the voltage of the battery cell, we should be getting 185,000 milliwatt hour or 185 watt hour. This is what we're supposed to be getting as the final number, and as you can see, our calculations showing pretty similar digits. So we're gonna have to wait another 5 hours before it's charged to 100%. And after that, we're gonna see if the capacity is gonna be the same. Alright, there we go. So we're 67% charged. So we're basically 2/3 charged right now. And it's been 7 hours, 27 minutes. So 7.5 hours to get 2/3 charged. And we got 13,930 milliamp hour. Well, roughly 14,000 milliamp at 9 volt. Let's check out how much it's gonna be. So if I got my calculator, we get 14,000 milliamp at 9 volt. That's 126,000 milliwatt hour or 126 watt hour. Later on, once we get the full charge, we'll calculate the more exact one. 73% charged after 8 hours. So after 8 hours we get in 73% charged, another 27% to go, and it should be fully charged. 86% charged, and 10 hours have passed. So actually it's taken a little bit longer than I was expecting, because it was 50% charged after 5 hours, and now it's been 10 hours and it's only been charged 86%, so another 14% to go. So we'll wait a little bit more time before it's fully charged. 18,700 milliamp hour has been consumed, so it's getting pretty full. 99% almost done. It's been almost 12 hours. It has consumed 20,222 milliamp hour at 9 volt. As you can see, the current has just dropped because there is only 1% left. Alright, there we go. So the charging is complete, the power bank is 100% full, and it has been 12 hours and 15 minutes. As you can see, the timer has stopped at 12 hours 15 minutes, and there's been 20,324 milliamp hour transferred to the power bank at 9 volt. So we're just gonna go 20,324 times 9 volt, and we get in 182,916 milliwatt hour. So we're roughly getting 183 watt hour. That is almost like perfect match to how much it's supposed to be. So I'm really happy about it. As you can see, it's 100% charged. So let's go ahead and unplug it. There we go. So the power bank is 100% full, and it almost feels like it's got heavier now. I'm just kidding. It's actually the same weight because it didn't add any weight, but it is 100% full. So the power bank is full within 12 hours, which is pretty great actually. It's 4 hours less to charge than the 60,000 milliamp hour power bank, which means the results are pretty consistent. And indeed, we get in 50,000 milliamp hour in this power bank. I'm very happy about it. Alright, so let's get to the conclusion. What can I say about this power bank? My first initial thoughts was good, but then when I started discharging it, I thought the battery wasn't what it's supposed to be, because it dropped the charge quickly, and when it was 50% then it went down to 0, so I thought, well, there's got to be a mistake or something. But when I started charging it, it's actually confirmed its claimed capacity, and I'm very happy about it because I didn't want to return it, and I'm happy that it's actually what it's supposed to be. I'm not sure how they managed to put 50,000 milliamp hour battery inside this power bank. Like that bigger one that I showed you was 60,000, it was 1400 grams, and this one's only about 1000 grams. So it's lighter, yet it has only 10,000 less than the Romos one. So I'm pretty happy about it. So let's get to the pros and cons about this power bank. What I find good about this power bank: first, the build quality is very good, feels very solid in your hand, and it's actually pretty small, so it's not like a super heavy, bulky power bank. Of course, it's way bulkier than a smaller ones like 10,000 milliamp hour power banks, but you basically get in 50,000 milliamp hour, so you can keep charging your devices like 5,000 milliamp hour phone for like 10 times, which is a lot. If you're experiencing frequent power outages, that's going to be irreplaceable companion to your smartphone. So like I said, the build quality is very good. It's not superb, but it's very good level. That's my thought about the build quality. Second is convenience. They actually included this strap here, which is very convenient if you're traveling or if you're going camping, because you can just hang it on a hook with this strap, for example on a branch or somewhere like where you need to use the light. That's another thing why it's a great power bank, because it has this small LED light up here, which is bright enough. It's not super bright, but you can definitely see, even like with this video light that I got at the back, plus it's a daylight, you can see that the light turned on, and you can see when I put my hand, see how bright it is. So it's not very bright, but when it's pitch black in the woods or when there's no light at all, it will be definitely bright enough to see. So I think this is a good addition to this power bank. So for the convenience, definitely a plus. Another good thing about this power bank, they have 3 USB type A ports and 1 USB type C port for charging, but this is what most of the power banks got. And they have one port that is capable of 22.5 watt power delivery, which is also good. Then they included micro USB and USB type C and lightning port for charging this power bank. This is just a standard thing, but it's still pretty good. It has a display that shows percentage, so this is very good, because some power banks, they don't have the digital display, they only have the LED indication lights, which I think is not enough, because you're not going to be able to tell if it's 50% or if it's 30%, because it's only like 4 LED lights, and it just shows you if it's like 25%, 50%, 75 or 100% charged. In this case, you can see each percent. I think this is good, but the con for this is the display brightness. The display brightness is very poor, and it's going to be very hard to see. I don't know why they have included such a dim display. If it would be a little bit brighter, that would be so much better. So this is a pro and a con for this device. Another pro for this device is its price. I was actually surprised that, so this is roughly a $25 power bank that has a 50,000 milliamp battery capacity. That's a lot, because my other one that I bought for $50 is only 60,000 milliamp hour, and it's twice the price. So it's definitely a good value for the price. If you're thinking about getting a power bank that will last you for a long time, with a huge capacity that you can charge various devices with a quick charge protocol and quick charging. If you're thinking about spending more money on the power bank, of course it would be nice to have like a 65 watt quick charge, or maybe even a 100 watt quick charge. Like there are some power banks that are capable of charging 100 watt. In my opinion, that's really fast, and not many devices actually support such quick charging, so you won't be able to use it anyway. Or if you're buying it, for example, to use on your laptop, then it might be good. But another thing, if you're buying it for a gaming laptop, this power bank won't last you very long either, because gaming laptops, they're just consuming so much power. So I don't really see the point of getting a super quick charge. One thing would be great if it would have quick charge for the power bank itself. That would be nice, because having charged it for 12 hours, that's a lot of time. And for example, if you want to charge it from the generator, or you would need to run your generator for 12 hours to fully charge this device. So it's not very convenient. But if you use it and then you charge it again, don't drain it to zero, then it's no problem. But like I said, yeah, the 12 hours, it's a very long time. And my other power bank that I tested before was 16 hours for the 60,000 milliamp hour battery, and that was very long time. So one of those things, if they would have a faster charging for the power bank itself, that would be much appreciated, even if it would cost a little bit more money. But I know that quick charging power banks, they're very expensive, and they will cost like $100, $150, $200 for even less capacity than this one. So it's up to you if you want to spend more money and get more expensive power bank with better specs, or if you want to save money and buy a few of these guys and have them sitting in your desk or in your drawer, and then just pull them out as you need them. So I think this is a very good thing. And in another video, I'm going to show you one interesting use of these power banks, what you can use them for, not only to charge a smartphone or tablet, but also to use it some very interesting applications. So stay tuned for the next video. And if you're new to the channel, please take a second to click the subscribe button. This will help me a lot to grow my channel and bring you more helpful, interesting videos. If you like this video, please support it with your like. If you have questions, comments, drop them down in the comment section below. I'll try to help you if I can. And let me know in the comment section below which power bank do you think is better, this one or the one that we reviewed in the previous video, the power bank from Romos. Let me know which you think is a better deal, and this is it for now. Until next video, see you soon, bye bye.